Hey everyone, and welcome back to my WordPress theme development series. In this video, we're going to learn about custom fields. If you watched the earlier video that I did, which was related to custom post types, you would have learned how to create your own custom post type. So as you can see here, we have our custom post type called cars. And then inside there, we have a taxonomy called brands. So cars are pretty much like a page or a post, and brands is pretty much like a category or a tag. So if we go into cars, we have our Toyota Corolla there that we added in as well. And you'll notice that we had typed in the content here, which would be the description of the specific car. But then we also might want to put some extra data about the car into the page. So you could very well just go into the text editor and type in, price, and all that sort of stuff, color. But that really isn't the best and optimal way to do that, especially when you're going to be listing a lot of cars. You're going to want to put them in their own fields. So for example, you might want to put a field which is for color, and you type in the color inside that field, and then maybe a field for registration number, and you put the registration in there. And then it's more of a a structured way to add a car into your database. Now, unfortunately, WordPress, being an amazing CMS, does lack in certain aspects. And one of those aspects that I've found over the many years that I've been using WordPress is that there has been really no development in custom fields and making it easier to use custom fields in WordPress. If you go into your editor and go to the top screen options, you should see brands, featured image, and custom fields there. Now, if you can't see custom fields, you're going to want to go into your functions.php and make sure that you add custom fields into there. So you may see it like this right now under your post type. You might want to then put custom fields. And then when you refresh and go to screen options in a specific car page, you'll see custom fields there, and just click custom fields on. Now this is the inbuilt functionality for custom fields in WordPress, which is very, very basic. But if you go further down the screen, you should see custom fields here. And then you can add your own custom fields. Like for example, we could do color, and we could type in blue. And then we could do, once we add it, we can do another one, registration, and we'll just do like ABC 1, 2, 3. And we'll add the custom field as well. So now we have two custom fields which are associated with this specific car. And if we click on update, if we go into the actual car page, you can't see the custom fields yet because you need to call them within your template. To do that, if you go into your code editor and you go to the single-cars.php page, because this is the page that we're using for a singular car. You'll notice we created these two columns before. So we're going to be using a function that WordPress has created called getPostMeta. All getPostMeta is a function which will call the database and grab that piece of data from the database. So let's create an unordered list. Within there, we want to add the first one, which is color. Okay, and then we'll open up our PHP tags. PHP echo get post underscore meta, and then close it off. And within this function, we want to do 3 arguments. The first argument will be post ID. So this will grab the ID of the post that we're in right now from the global post variable. The second argument will be the name of the custom field. So if we go back here, the name of the custom field is color. So we'll copy that. And then the third one is whether it is a string or an array. So we're just going to put true, which is that it is a string. You can't really put arrays through this user interface. So it's always mostly going to be true in this case. We'll also copy that, and actually copy this and paste that, and we'll just do registration. And change this to registration as well. We'll then refresh our front end. And there you go, we have color blue and registration ABC123. Now you might want to make it so that if there is no registration that exists, then it's not going to work. So what you can do is if an if statement, and then it will just be if get post meta, and it'll be exactly the same thing. So let me just go back there for a second. It can get quite painful typing this in every single time. So we'll just do if, and then PHP end if, and then we'll go back and we'll refresh and it should still be there. But if we actually go and remove the value from there and update it, as you can see, it's blank now. Refresh it, registration won't come up. Okay, so that's in a nutshell, that's WordPress's functionality with custom fields. As you can see, it's very, very basic, and it doesn't really give you the flexibility that you need, especially if you're building a website for a customer and you want them to have some sort of really easy to use interface. You'll also notice that if we go and say add a new car, let's call it Toyota Land Cruiser, assign it to the Toyota brand and publish it, you'll notice the custom fields aren't actually there. You need to select them and then you need to then type in their values. So color again and registration, let's do ABC345. And then we'll add that and then update the page, go and look at it. You'll see that, it still works, but it does not really give you the best kind of user interface, and it's really, really basic. Now, in my whole career of developing WordPress websites, I am a minimalist when it comes to plugins. I don't like a WordPress website to have too many plugins, because if you develop the website yourself, you should be able to build a lot of the functionality that you need within the theme or create your own plugin. However, there are a few exceptions that I make, and one is for a plugin called Advanced Custom Fields, and it's completely transformed the way and the ease of use when it comes to building a WordPress theme and something quite complex like a catalog or something like that. And I'm going to show you why. So let's forget about the way I've just showed you. This way is definitely a no-no. Or if you want to use it, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it if you're building a scalable site. So let's go to plugins and let's go and install a plugin, and it's going to be called Advanced Custom Fields. Now there are two versions of Advanced Custom Fields. You have the free version, which you can download and use for free, but it does lack a couple of features. There is also the Pro version, which gives you all the features that you need, and it costs 100 Australian dollars, one-time fee. So you have unlimited updates and you don't have to pay any more than that. So I would recommend, if you're going to be building websites for customers, that you get the Pro version, because it gives you quite a bit more functionality than you might need. And I'll show you the differences. So let's install Advanced Custom Fields first. And once you install it, just make sure that you activate it. And then you should see at the bottom of your sidebar, Custom Fields. Go into Custom Fields, and we're going to create a field group. And just think of a field group as like a group of fields that you can then assign to a specific post or a post type or anything you want. So let's just go Add New, and we're going to call it Car Details. Okay, and the Car Details group is going to have a couple of fields in it. We'll add our first field. We'll just click on Add, and we'll call it Color. So we'll just do Color. And you'll notice that the field label is color with a capital C, and the field name is color with a lowercase c, and that is automatically generated when you create the label. This is the ID of the actual field, so this is what you'll be using to refer in your template to grab the data out of it. You can also choose the type of field you want, so we're just going to choose text, which is just a text field. And you can see that there are a lot of different options here, which we're not going to fill out here, but it's very self-explanatory. We'll then add another field called registration, and that's another text field, and then we'll publish it. Now, once we've published it, we can also assign it to a specific type of post or a page or whatever you want. So let's change that to car post type is equal to car. We'll then update that and go into our cars section and go to our Toyota Corolla. One thing you'll notice straight off the bat is that the old custom fields functionality that we were using before has been completely removed because advanced custom fields kind of takes over that functionality. If you view the page, you'll notice that they are still there though, because the data is still saved in the database. We've just lost the vision of that data in the back end. So if you deactivate advanced custom fields and then you go back into your cars and to Toyota Corolla, you should see the data still there. Let's just delete that. And then we will update that. And we'll go and activate advanced custom fields again, go back into cars and go back into the Toyota Corolla. Now what we can do is you can firstly see that it's much nicer looking, and this will actually stay whenever you go into any type of car. So you don't have to re-add the custom fields like we did before. First thing, I'll just type in blue and then I'll do ABC 1, 2, 3 there. And then I'll also go into the other car, which is the Land Cruiser, and do the same thing. We'll just do red and we'll do ABC 3, 4, 5. And I'll put some content inside this page as well. And I'll just quickly go and get a picture of a Land Cruiser just so that it doesn't look as bare. Okay, so now we have a Land Cruiser and we have our Corolla. So if we get a Land Cruiser, you'll see that it looks like that. It has a custom field that is referring to the custom field data for the Land Cruiser. And we also have the custom field data displaying for the Toyota Corolla. Actually, let's refresh that. Okay, so you'll notice one thing. We've had a bit of a problem here. Now the data is not really displaying properly. So let's edit this page and see what's going on. So let's update that, refresh it. Okay, what's going on here? Let's have a look. Are we in the right one? Yeah, we're in the Toyota Corolla. So the data is just not coming up at all. Let's go into our template and you'll see why. It's because this get post meta function does not work with advanced custom fields. Advanced custom fields has its own functions to pull data from the database. So what you want to do is you want to do PHP echo. Actually, you don't even have to do echo. There's a function that echoes for you in advanced custom fields, and that is PHP the_field. And the ID, as you remember, it was the lowercase color. And we'll go and refresh that now. There we go, blue comes up. Same thing with I'll just remove these if statements here. Same thing with registration. Registration, save that, refresh, there we go. So that's coming up and that's directly reflecting these custom fields. So if I type 4 there and hit update and we look at the page now, 4 is there as well. Now if we go back to the Land Cruiser, you should see that it's blank because we don't have anything in there. So we'll just do black, and then we'll do ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Update that, view the page, and now we're having a bit of a problem. We've got this data is let's go back to, where are we? Okay, we're in the wrong page. Go back to Land Cruiser again. We'll edit the page and you'll see that it's kind of, we're typing in black and we're typing in whatever it is and update, and it's just going back to blank. So why would that be? Let's just to troubleshoot that, we can deactivate advanced custom fields, go back into the Land Cruiser and see if we have the data set in the old way that I showed you, and it is. So let's delete that and let's update that, and then go back to plugins and activate it again. Go back to cars, go back to the Land Cruiser, and now let's see if it works. So we'll do. There you go, now it's working. So what was happening there is that the metadata in the database was using the same name as the color and registration, and therefore advanced custom fields and the built-in native custom fields were clashing. So if you view that now, you'll see that the color is black and the registration is what we typed. So each particular product or each particular car in our catalog has different custom fields associated with it, and they display based on what we type in those specific pages. So these are really basic. We've just got the color and registration, but what if we want to add in something like a repeater field? A repeater field is something that, for example, features, and you want to add in all the features for that specific car, but the Toyota Corolla might have different features to the Toyota Land Cruiser, and therefore there's no real set features that you can say each car has and just tick it off. It might be better to add in the features manually. So if we go to custom fields again, go to car details, go add field, and let's type in features. And then if we look for the field type, we want to use something called a repeater. Now, this is where having Advanced Custom Fields Pro is better than having Advanced Custom Fields Free. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to plugins and I'm going to install Advanced Custom Fields Pro so you can see how the repeater field works. And you'll definitely notice that it is worth the $100 to pay and buy the Pro plugin. Okay, so I've just installed Advanced Custom Fields Pro and I'm going to activate it now. And what you can do then, once you install Pro, you can just delete the free one because they work in the same way. That Pro just has a bit more features. So if you go back into custom fields now and go to car details, and let's go add field, and we'll type in features. And we'll go down the list and find the repeater field. Okay. Now the repeater field will allow us to choose as many features as we want and add them in kind of like an array. So let's just make the button label as add feature, and we will update that now. Let's go back into a car. Oops, go back to edit, sorry. And you can see features here now. Now it doesn't actually have anything there, so I'm just wondering what is going on there. I think it might be because there is an update. So I'm just going to quickly update the plugin because I think it might be clashing with an older version of, or the newer version of the Advanced Custom Fields Free plugin. Okay, so I've just activated my license key and I'm now going to update the plugin so that it has all the latest changes, and hopefully it will fix why the repeater field wasn't showing up. Okay, so it's now updated. If we go to custom fields, go to car details again and go into, if we go to cars, my apologies, go to Toyota Corolla, we should see the features thing. It's still not working. So let's, this is definitely not a good thing to happen, especially when I'm showing a tutorial to you. So we'll just update this again and hopefully that will fix the problem. Okay, so it doesn't seem to be fixing the problem when I add the repeater in there. So if you give me a second, I'm just going to see why that's happened. Okay, stupidly enough, I forgot to do a couple of things with the repeater. So that is a very amateur error on my behalf. Firstly, if you go into custom fields and then you go to car details and you go into the repeater function, the repeater function requires you to add in some settings. Okay, so basically fields within the repeater. So firstly, we're going to do, we'll just add a field called feature. Okay, and we'll also create another field called, I'm trying to think. Yes or no, for example. And we can make that a select checkbox, okay? Actually, we'll make it a true or false. And then we'll update that. We'll go to our cars and we'll go into our Toyota Corolla. And you'll see now we have a repeater field and it has the add feature button. So we could do, leather seats, and you could do yes or no. Right, you could, but it's kind of like a silly thing to do. So I'm just going to change that. We'll go here and just be careful when you change custom fields if you already have data, because you can potentially lose that data. So I'm just going to remove that yes or no completely. Update. We'll refresh again. We have features, so we can do say leather seats, airbag, Bluetooth, etc. Okay, so we've got 3 features there. We can update that. And now we need to call those features in the template. So let's go and back into our template, and we will then create a new unordered list. But on top of that, we'll do H3 and we'll just call it features. Okay. Underneath there, let's do another unordered list, and we'll do a list item as well. And now we need to basically do a loop within the advanced custom fields. So the first thing we want to do a loop would be to check if there are actually rows within the features variable. So the first thing we'll do is on top of the list item, PHP if have rows or have underscore rows. Now this is an advanced custom fields function. It's not a WordPress native function. If have rows, and then we'll just do the name of the ID of our variable field. So let's just go, it's called features, as you can see here. If have rows features, and after the list item, we'll just close it off. So we'll do PHP end if, okay? And within there, we then want to do a while. So we'll do PHP while have rows features. And then we also want to do the underscore row. After that, at the end, we do PHP end while. Okay, so this is the loop. Firstly, it's checking if there are features, and then it's going to loop through the features, and then we're going to be able to grab each feature here. So essentially what you could do is underneath the while statement like that, you could set some variables. You could go feature equals get sub field, and then whatever the ID of the actual sub field is. So let's go here. The subfield is called feature. So it's a subfield within the repeater. And then you can just do PHP echo feature. So let's go and refresh and see if this actually works. There you go. So we can then do the same thing on the Land Cruiser. Let's go into the Land Cruiser, go to add some features. We'll just do airbag as well. We'll do Bluetooth and mag wheels, or alloy wheels. And we'll update that and we'll view the page. There you go. So now we can basically add multiple things within one variable. Now, obviously, Advanced Custom Fields has many more functions to it, and I can't really show you absolutely everything, but you should really go through it and see what functions there are. And if you want to know how to include the data within your template, as you can see here, we have the ACF repeater, and then it gives you examples of how to actually use it. And it actually has all the documentation on every single type of thing that you can include. The one last thing that I'm going to show you with Advanced Custom Fields is the gallery. And this is something that you might want to do if you want to include a gallery on your page. Go back into your custom fields, go to field groups and click on your car details one. And you could add a new field called gallery. Okay. But let's just say you're going to use gallery in more than one pages. You're not just going to use the gallery on your car product page. You're going to use it maybe on different pages of your website. You might want to do it a different way. If you remove this, and let's go back into our field groups, create a new field group called gallery. And then we'll add a field to there called gallery. And we'll make the field type a gallery field. You can then choose a couple of features here. There's heaps of features and options. I'm just going to make it actually image array is fine. This is basically the format of which, when you go through the loop, how it returns the data of the image. We'll make that an array, and we'll do publish. We'll then make it assigned to a car, but basically if you wanted to do it on another page, you could assign it also to a page, and it comes up on all your pages, or you could make it do all your posts as well. So that is pretty powerful, how you can assign it to different locations. But I'm just going to make it come up to the car post type firstly. We'll go back into cars. We'll go to Toyota Corolla. And you'll see now we have a gallery section. By the way, with features, you can drag and drop their order so they display differently, which is really, really handy as well. With gallery, just go into your gallery, add in all the images you want, and you'll see that it's a really, really easy interface. Just click on update, and the gallery will show up like that. However, when we go into the actual car, the gallery is not going to show anything, or there's no gallery to be seen, because we need to actually put the gallery within our template to show it. So I'm going to go onto the ACF website, and I'm just going to Google ACF Gallery and go to the gallery page of the ACF website. It's actually going to show me examples. So it's really, really easy. I'm going to do that for you now. So let's go underneath our code. Let's go and create another section here. And we will do PHP gallery equals get field gallery. Okay, so we're going to be putting the gallery data within a variable called gallery. And now that we have it within there, we want to then do if. Actually, we're going to do, we'll do it like this. If images. So it's basically going to check if there are, if gallery, my bad. If gallery. It's just going to basically check if there is anything within the gallery. And then we'll just do PHP and if. And within here, we then want to do a loop. So it's going to loop through every single image within the gallery. So it's a for each. So we'll do PHP for each gallery as image. And then within there, we want to obviously put every image that is inside our gallery. So let's just do PHP. We'll do image source, PHP echo image. And we'll save that. Now, it's not going to work as expected, and I'll tell you why. If we refresh that, you should see that we actually, firstly, I haven't done something right. There's an end if, it's end for each, not end if. We'll refresh it. You'll see the images, there are 3 images there, and there are 3 images here, but they don't actually show up. The reason is because remember when we went back in custom fields, and we chose that the gallery was to show an image array. If we make it show image URL instead and update it, it should very well show those images. As you can see there, they're a bit large, so we could just do class equals image fluid, which is a bootstrap class to make it fit within the container it's in. But it's not ideal. We want it to maybe show an image in a different size. We don't want to show the full image because it'll take forever to load. So that's why we make it an image array, because the image array also has all the data to all the different image sizes that are available for that specific image. So we'll update that. And again, if we go back and refresh, it's not working. So remember when we created some image functions or image sizes within our functions.php? If we go here, and you'll see we have 2 different image sizes, blog large and blog small. We're going to use blog small as an image size, okay? And we will make it so when we echo out the image, we also go sizes and then blog small. So that is basically going to show that image within the gallery using the blog small sizing. We'll refresh it, and you should see now that the images are the size of the images that we created early, the image sizes we created earlier. You can also do blog large because we have blog large there. Okay, so you have a lot of functions that you can do, and then also you can obviously link the images if you want to a larger version. So let's just say you wanted blog small to be the thumbnail, but then you also wanted to link it to blog large. If you refresh it now, you could click on that and then it will link it to blog large. Here we go, blog large. Refresh it. There you go. Okay, so yeah, that's still probably not ideal because you don't want it to just load the image. You want it to maybe load in some sort of lightbox. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a lightbox to work with the gallery. So to create a gallery lightbox, I would recommend using a script called Magnific Popup. It's a jQuery plugin. So if we just go and Google Magnific Popup, you can go to the website and you can download the scripts, and we'll include that into our project. So let's go to documentation here. Actually, we'll go to the project on GitHub first, and we will download the zip file of the project. And we firstly want to then go into there, go to dist, which is the distribution folder, and then go into our project, which is in our XAMPP, not in our XAMPP, is it? It's in our Laragon folder. Go to our, where are we? Where is it? In our test folder, WP content, themes, my theme. And then we want to obviously get the JS file. So we'll get Magnific Popup min.js, drag that into the JS, and we'll also get the Magnific Popup CSS and put that in our CSS folder. Cool. Then let's go and to our functions.php, and we need to enqueue the JS and the CSS. So let's go and firstly get the CSS, put that underneath Bootstrap because we want our style sheet to always override any other style sheet. We'll change this to Magnific, and we'll do Magnific, I think the name is Magnific-Popup, Magnific-Popup.css. Okay, so Magnific-Popup.css, and you'll notice it's in the CSS folder. Okay, we'll also grab the jQuery file, or the JS file, which will be Magnific. Just go to JS here and do, it's jQuery.magnificpopup.min. So let's just copy that. I've just copied that whole name and I've put it there. Okay, good. And we'll also change this to Magnific. You'll see that jQuery is a dependency, so it should automatically know what to do and where to place it. So let's refresh our project and go into our source, and we should see Magnific Popup, which works. And if we scroll to the bottom, we should see jQuery Magnific Popup, and that doesn't work. So that's a good way to test it. That's not working properly, so let's see why. So we forgot to add .js. Actually, we've made it .mins, so we'll make it .js. Go back, refresh, try it again. There we go, it's working. Great. So now that we have Magnific Popup in our project, we need to initialize it. So on their website, you have a section here called Gallery. If you click on Gallery, there's a few functions we can use to make a gallery work. So first of all, let's go and we're going to load our own custom JS file, because instead of going to say our footer and putting all the JS in there to initialize the plugin, we'll just create a new JS file. We'll call it custom.js, and inside there we'll put all the features that we want for our plugins to initialize. So once we've created custom.js, let's go to our functions.php and let's include that here. Make it at the end. We'll call it custom, and we will also call it JS custom.js. Okay, so now if I go to custom.js and I just put alert hi and refresh the page, it should come up. Great. So that means that the JS is working now. Okay, so what we can do now is go back to Magnific Pop-Up and grab this. This is an example of a gallery, okay? Paste that inside of there, and we will then we'll just call it gallery there. Okay, and then we go into our single cars, and we then want to make the gallery work within there. So on here, it says that you can have multiple galleries, which means that you wrap it within a class called gallery, or whatever the name of the class is, or you could have a single gallery. So what I will probably do is, actually, we're going to copy this. Let's remove what you copied before and you put into your custom.js and copy that instead. Okay. So now that we've copied that, what's going to happen is that we're going to have a wrapper called gallery. So let's go to single cars and we'll put a wrapper around our gallery. So let's just do div gallery and close it off. And let's just see what happens now when we try and look at an image. So we'll refresh it. Okay, it's still not doing exactly what we want to. So let's see why that is. You'll notice that if we look in our inspector and we go to console, it says $ is not a function. And that means that jQuery is not a function, or the $ in jQuery is not a function. So let's go back to our custom.js and let's just put the $ in here, and let's just see if that actually fixes it. So let's refresh it again, and it still hasn't fixed it. So what we can do now is let's just take that out, replace the $ with J lowercase and then query with a capital Q, and then we will save it again, and let's refresh and see if we get another error. There's no more error there. So if we click on an image now, you should see that it loads up the images inside of a Lightbox, and you can just go left, right to go between them. Cool. Okay, so yeah, they're not coming up in any kind of beautiful order. You can obviously make them look better. So let's go back to single cars, grab this, go to the top here, and underneath our post thumbnail, we can paste it there. We can refresh it. You should see the images are there now. You can obviously maybe put margin bottom so that it separates the content. And then you can obviously, you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to style it, go over the top with styling, because it will defeat the purpose of this series. So there we go. We have our images, we can click through them. And then you have this picture here, which is quite large. So it might not be worth actually having that as a clickable image. But if you did want to, you could easily just wrap the thumbnail within another class called gallery. And you could save that, and then when you obviously got a link to it as well, so you could do an anchor tag. Hit refresh, and there you go. So we have an image for that as well, but that's a separate gallery to these ones. Okay, so that is the end of this tutorial for custom fields. I would highly recommend that you try out advanced custom fields and you buy the plugin, because it is very, very useful and you could use it on all the projects that you create. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you the best way to integrate a form into your project. So for example, here, if you wanted to put an inquiry form that relates to this specific car, we're going to be using another plugin, which I would highly recommend. And as I said, I've only got 4 or 5 different plugins that I would recommend and I live by with WordPress. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you very much.